What's good, everyone? What up? Hope everyone having a blessed Sunday. Man, you know what it is. We're gonna go into covering some football, college football, HBCU, NFL action that has happened and is going to happen. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Of course, I have my brother, my right hand man, Coach 67 Sports TV. What's going on? Coach, can you hear me?
What's good with you, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. Just asking how you doing, how you feeling. Is the music too loud, JB?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. A little under the weather, but all is well.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, well, I can hear you now. It's kind of like a little delay,
Yeah,
but I
like I
can hear
said,
you.
yeah, I'm a little under the weather, but all is well. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Okay, all right. Like I was telling you, I hope you feel better. I know you said you kicking it, but I hope you continue to feel better. JB, how's everything doing, brother?
Going good, man. Just sitting back enjoying my Sunday, man. Hope everybody having a blessed day.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. All right, you know what it is. Let's get into it. We're gonna cover week 13 of the college football. First, we're going to go into the PWIs. So, Tuesday action, which was November 19th, Akron beat Kent State 38-17. Central Michigan beat Western Michigan 16-14. Miami of Ohio beat Northern Illinois 23. And then on November 20th, two games happened. Buffalo beat Eastern Michigan 37-20. The Ohio Bobcats beat Toledo 24-7. On Thursday, November 21st, Georgia Tech ACC battle beat North Carolina State 30-29. That game went down to the wire, but Georgia Tech barely beat the Wolfpack 30-29. On Friday, this past Friday, November 22nd, UNLV, who was ranked number 24, beat San Jose State 27-16. University of Texas San Antonio beat Temple 51-27. Michigan State beat Purdue 24-17. Now we're getting into yesterday's action. Ohio State, and this is where I want to pause at. Ohio State beat the surprising season of Indiana. They put L on their record for the first time. Ohio State Buckeyes beat Indiana 38-15. Basically, they were winning 15-0, or blew them out in the first half. Second half, Ohio State just unloading on them, scoring 30 plus points. JB, did you catch that game? What was your thoughts?
Yeah, man. The running back Henderson went off. And this is why you don't give up on the run game. Um,
Speaking
no
of that,
matter
we're gonna go into that.
yeah. So I think his name Travion Henderson,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, he had a long run, breaking one off, and their quarterback, he played decent. And Indiana is Will Howard. He played decent, but Indiana is a very explosive team. But Ohio State has been there, you know.
Right.
He they and that experience kicked in, I think. So this is Indiana first team. I don't. I know this is their first season being this relevant. So we'll, in future years, we'll take a good look at Indiana to see if it was just a 1 year thing, or
Mm.
is this going to be a consistent thing, and maybe they'll end up winning these big games.
Okay, so basically, you're saying we in the future we're gonna see if their program, the success of their program so far is here to stay, or it was just a one season thing. Okay, okay, I feel you.
Right.
Uh, and of course, coach, you, I know you all Southern, but I can't skip you, brother. I want to make sure you saw the game or not. Did you get a chance to see the Indiana and Ohio State game?
Actually, bro, after we did our show yesterday morning, our breakdown of the wire, I was just kind of down the rest of the day. I really didn't watch anything and didn't do too much yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I definitely understand, man. You're trying to shake that code, um, and allergies as well. So I definitely understand. Uh, I have other brother with me, LDBC business in the building. Big Joe Town, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Big Joe?
Wow. What up, Coach? What up, family? What's going on with you?
All is well, bro.
What's up,
Already.
Big Joe?
Just marinating. I'm just getting back home. I just got back from Vegas, so I'm just getting settled in.
All right, man. I hear you moving around out there, man.
Yeah. I went out there. I didn't went out there to check out the Las Vegas Grand Prix. You know what I mean? So I went out there and supported Lewis Hamilton and whatnot. So I did that. I totally forgot the Raiders and Broncos was playing. I could have stayed for the Raider game, but you know, it's all good. But I'm here with y'all, so that's where I won't be at anyway. You feel me?
Well, we appreciate you, man.
Already.
Yo, Jerry, you good?
Man, I was talking the whole time on mute. My apologies. But I was saying that got to get your opinion on the Ohio State and Indiana game, Big Joe.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Even though I'm moving shaking, I'm still able to watch the game. You know what I mean? So from what I've seen, Indiana's just not ready yet. They've been
Mm,
thrust upon college football. They've been thrust upon America. As they're this great team, and oh man, look at Indiana. Da, da, da. Like we always say, well, I want to see what they do against this team, against that team. Well, that team was Ohio State. Ohio State has a history of winning. They have a coaching staff who's well experienced, has been there before. Even though they haven't won national championships in a while, but they have gone and playing in big games and gone to college playoffs, so they know what to expect. Indiana, they're still trying to figure everything out. Everything's clicking, everything's working, but they just were not ready for the spotlight yet. I'm not the biggest fan of Ohio State. I'm not really sold on them, to be honest. But Ohio State put Indiana back in their place. Like JB said,
mm.
it's going to be interesting to see how they do in the next couple of years when it comes to recruiting and whatnot. So but Ohio State is still Ohio State. So if you can't beat Ohio State at home, you not ready. You ain't ready for the college playoff series yet.
Mm.
So kind of like how um who was that? Um, like Georgia, like Georgia or like Alabama. If you can't beat them teams at their house, then it's gonna be hard for you to be in the college playoffs because everybody in there gonna be good, and you most likely might have to win on the road. So shout out to Indiana though; they've had a phenomenal year, but no, they're just not ready yet. You can just tell when they're playing. They start, when you getting your ass whooped, you start looking around in the stands and stuff. I've seen a
Right.
lot of that. I ain't seen too many. I ain't seen too many players getting hyped up. Hey man, come on man, we can do this. A lot of folks are just like, you know what? Yeah, we just ain't got it. So But anyway, shout out to them. And Ohio State did what they supposed to do, and that's what they asked.
Facts, facts. And salute to J Bar. He said, "Salute family, salute J Bar. We supporting." My brother Jay the Six, Carolina Panther fan in the building. What's up? He said Emeka Ibuka is going to look good in a Panthers jersey. I can see him with the Panthers, and how, you know what? We'll go into the Panthers. That boy Young looked good today, even though I believe they lost. Yeah, they lost to the Chiefs, but he looked good
They
today.
did. They kicked the field goal at the end of regulation to win the game.
They look good today. Young looked good today. So him sitting down holding that clipboard, it looks to hasn't improved the game. But moving on, going over the scores. Texas beat Kentucky 31-14. Texas is ranked number 3. Penn State, who's ranked number 4, beat Minnesota 26-25 barely. And Minnesota is middle of the road team. They got talent, but so yeah, that's they almost got knocked off by Minnesota. That's crazy. Notre Dame beat Army 49-14. Now, here's one of the games I want to talk about. Of course, we y'all probably already know about it. It's all over social media. Oklahoma, middle of the road, Oklahoma, upset.
No
Man,
defense, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
man.
upset Bama, who was number 7 in the nation. You know I'm going with JB first. What was your thoughts?
I think that's one of them games. I mean, this is football, man. What y'all gotta understand, our audience or whoever never played football before, you had these type games where you sitting there, you probably like a 7-1 team, 10-1 team. You sit comfortable, you getting ready for the playoffs, and this is one of them fall asleep games, or people call it trap games or whatever. Uh, I know we're going to talk about HBCU, but ask Jackson State about losing the Mississippi Valley, or those games. These games can happen where you
Actually,
overlook.
I was FAMU, bro.
FAMU, thank you, brother, thank you. FAMU and overlooked Mississippi Valley and got hit in the mouth.
And Alabama A&M was about to lose to them too, but they kept their composure. Go ahead.
Right, but these games can happen when you're sitting comfortable with your belly full. You know, you getting ready for the playoffs or a conference championship, and you don't do your homework during the week. I know if during the week you sitting there watching film, you probably BSing, laughing with your teammates, not taking you know the session seriously when your coach is trying to show you, and it shows. And I think
Because of the team
Oklahoma,
they're playing.
yes, and I think Oklahoma really did their homework. Looked at Alabama weaknesses and strengths, and I don't think Nero played great. Let me see, and I think they got embarrassed. They only scored 3 points, and it was a defensive game.
And JB, you cooking, but I just want to interject. Milrow threw 3 picks, man.
Man, he didn't play good. That means he wasn't focused. He had his mind on, he was one of the Heisman hopefuls this year. To me, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. But this is why we love football. This can happen. Football can build you up, and football can humble you and put you down,
Yes,
just
Lord.
like that.
Yes, Lord.
And I think the Crimson Tide just got humbled yesterday.
Yes, sir, they did. You know I'm gonna go on to coach. Uh, even though you said you were down, did you hear about this game?
Yeah, actually, I heard about it. I was not surprised that Oklahoma beat Alabama. A lot of people might want to consider this an upset, but you gotta realize the superpower of college football and added the Big 12's like biggest uh two biggest college programs. So it's a dogfight every weekend in the SEC. I don't care if you're playing against Vanderbilt. I don't care if you're playing against Mississippi State, whoever, Arkansas, whoever. So people talking like this is a huge upset. Uh, I don't find it to be that big upset. Oklahoma's still Oklahoma. Even though they might not be Oklahoma of old, it's still Oklahoma though.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I said before you go to Big Joe. If you look at the stats, coach, and I know you did, they couldn't throw the ball, right?
Who couldn't throw the
With
ball?
Jackson Arnold, Oklahoma.
Right.
So the only way they had to win was run the game. There's no reason why Jackson, Alabama gave up 131 yards to the quarterback. We talking about our Bama defense now. And I know they wasn't the Bama defense of the past,
I'm about to say
but
this,
Jackson Arnold,
bro.
25 carries for 131 yards.
Bro, this is not Alabama defense of old. It ain't like you got these three slop hogs in the middle with these four linebackers just wreaking havoc running all over the place. Like those days are
Right.
gone. So
Right.
even LSU and Alabama was synonymous for being like elite defenses in the SEC and in college football. Those days are gone. Like your best athletes play on the offensive side of the ball with all this spread stuff. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
dogs on defense, but the vast majority of the dogs gonna be on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, and that's what it is. That's the reason why LSU and Alabama don't dominate defensively like they used to.
My thing is like I was saying earlier, and I agree with you on that. Then this is not the same defense, but like I was saying, there's they BS during the week. Because looking at Oklahoma, their only threat was their running quarterback, Jackson Arnold. And Xavier Robinson is a good player. He had 170 yards for two tutties. But you got to know that this team can't beat you through there. They're going to run. So it's just ridiculous, man. 24 points, and they only scored 3. And
Bro.
Bama has played way tougher defenses than Oklahoma. Oklahoma defense is not good. They're not.
Well,
Watch them next week give up 40 points to the next team.
But see, that's the thing about it, though, bro. I mean,
Alabama was bullshit, bro.
I mean, that I understand what you're saying, but we talk about analytics, and I talk about Brian Billick, the book he wrote. As a coach, I read it. If Milroe threw 3 interceptions, bro, you can stick a fork and you're done. If you lose the turnover game by +2 or more, teams that win the turnover battle by +2 or more win 80% of the time. So that's a huge part of it. Of course, they talk about pick sixes and the team that return a punt or kickoff or a touchdown. They win like 80% of the time. So I mean, those things happen. So even if you load up the box, I have seen teams play on a junior high or middle school level this year. I've done a lot of games for Louisiana All-American Sports Network on a high school level. I've seen a lot of college teams play, Southern Maine in particular. Bro, just because you load up the box, that's really not going to guarantee that you're going to shut down the other team from running the ball, especially if they got a running quarterback when you're able to put a hat on a hat. So theoretically, it sounds good, but I mean, hey, I was at Southern Homecoming, and Southern had literally all 11 men in the box. Trump got to the next level, and that was it. So at the end of the day, even if you load up the box, it's still not going to guarantee that you're going to stop the run.
I hear you, man. I just didn't think Alabama would have that type of performance.
And to both of y'all right, but just to add on what Coach was talking about, look what Jada Six put. He said Nick Anderson, Deion Burks on Oklahoma, wide receivers on Oklahoma are nice, NFL caliber. So because the team overall maybe ain't that good or middle of the road, all these NIL deals, there's talent spread out on all these teams. Even the teams aren't
Jackson
that
Arnold's
good.
trash. That was my point, big boy.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna back up. I got you. I'm just saying, with talent on these teams, week in and week out, you facing. If you like you saying you bull crap, you gonna get punched in your mouth. And I'm sorry that they were cooking, Big Joe. But what's your opinion on this so-called upset?
No, that's all good, brother. Um, yeah, these are just one of these games that you expect Alabama to win, but at the end of the day, they just was not prepared to play. When you're like an Alabama, even like a Colorado, you're everybody's Super Bowl. You're gonna get everybody's best. There is no on and off switches. There is no okay. Well, we gonna stomp out Mercer last week, and we're gonna stomp out Oklahoma this week. It don't work like that. I'm not a big
Facts.
fan of having playing lower competition. You say that for the preseason. You play low competition. Then you gonna play Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma is not. They're a 5-5 team, but they still got dogs on their team. They still got players who are on scholarship. They still got players, who want to make a name for themselves. Some of them players, they're like, hey, I got to pick off of Milrose. Hey, I got 15 tackles against Alabama. You know what I mean? They still want to put somebody, on their highlight tape. So Alabama gonna get everybody best. When Alabama's built like the Dallas Cowboys. They built to play with a lead. They're not really built to come back. Milrose is a great player. He's a phenomenal talent. He still needs a lot more development to do. But when he makes mistakes and causes turnovers, they cannot recover from that because their defense is not that good. This is not the old days of the Will Andersons and the stomp down defense that they had before. They just don't have that. With the NIL, it's spreading out a lot of different players all over the place. So that's the reason why Nick Saban left in the first place because he can't compete with the NIL. Hell, that Michigan kid got $10.5 million and he ain't played it down yet. So Nick didn't want to deal with that. So Alabama went in there. It's like, all right, well, we stomped out Mercer. We gonna get Oklahoma. Oklahoma smacked them in their mouth. I played games like that before. We expect to beat a team, and it's way closer than it's supposed to be. It's 10-15 at halftime, or it's 0-15 at halftime. You're like, man, what the hell is going on? And it just feels weird on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows their assignments no more. Nobody don't know what to do. The effort's not there. Again, folks looking into the stands. So and Alabama has had some lackluster performances this year. But the main thing is if Milrose has turnovers, then they can't come back and win because he is their main weapon. If he's not running down the field, getting 100 plus yards, if he's not throwing darts, if he's not playing a clean game, they are not going to win, no matter how much talent they do or don't have. And Milrose didn't show up yesterday. He'll show up against Tennessee, but he didn't show up against Oklahoma, and that's why they lost. That's one of the main reasons why they lost. Now the defense has a lot of holes in it, but they should clamp down on the Oklahoma team. All comes down to they were not prepared to play. They were still on the bus at halftime. The same reason why Louisville lost to Stanford, still on the bus. So, you know, I believe this is an upset. Because when you're a 5-5 team and you beating a ranked team and they storm the field afterwards, that's an upset. Oklahoma has a stomp tradition, but Oklahoma ain't been shit in a long time. Alabama's been more relevant than Oklahoma. When you talk about college football, one of the first teams you name is Alabama. So this is going to be a growing thing for Milrose. This is good. Now the coach has a target on his back. You're not in the playoff contention. Hell, Nick Saban, even though he had a struggle last year, they still went to the playoffs. Hell, they beat Georgia. So if you didn't make the playoffs this year, folks gonna start looking around like, why we hire you for? But shout out to Oklahoma and Alabama. You got to put on somebody's highlight tape, and you might make them go pro. Shout out to Oklahoma.
Shout out to Oklahoma for getting the dub, man. Okay, good conversation, fellas. But moving on with and I be getting confused with Army and Navy because I know at one time they were undefeated. Both were undefeated, and yeah, Army lost for the first time. So Notre Dame beat both military schools. They beat Army and Navy. So Notre Dame gave Armies their first loss of the season. Okay.
Indiana and Army in the same boat. It's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah. Yep. But salute to my sister, Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She said, hello, what up, Yolanda? My fellow Baltimore Ravens fan. All right. Wake Forest loses to Miami 42-14. Miami's ranked number 8. Florida upset Ole Miss 24-17. Ole Miss was ranked number 9. JB, I gotta go to you first. What was your opinion on this upset?
You can say it's upset, but I knew it was possible. Florida has been playing great football these past couple of weeks. I think the coach got something going, got a formula, especially on offense that's working for him, and that was a possibility because Ole Miss has they play a good game, but it's not a clean game. They still make a lot of mistakes. Jackson Dark be throwing picks, either do a third quarterback. And Florida came away with the dub. They clamped down on defense. They came away with the dub. Shout out to Florida.
All right, Coach, did you catch the game?
No, I didn't. But the thing that stood out to me is just to kind of give you an example of how much parity it is in college football. Last week after church, my pastor's daughter and I, we were talking because like my senior year in high school, she tutored me for like trigonometry. And she was saying that, for everybody to know, Brian Kelly's on the hot seat at LSU. And she was basically saying they should get rid of him. I'm like, baby, they get rid of him. Who are they going to get? And she was like, they get Lane Kiffin. I'm like, LSU beat Ole Miss for one. Second of all, like, if you get rid of Brian Kelly, you're not going to get a better coach than him. I'm sorry. I'm unapologetic. Unless, it's not like it was, years ago. Like, they don't have all of these coaches just laying around waiting for a head coaching job on the college level. Like,
facts.
If you get rid of Brian Kelly, you might be out in the cold. So, and plus, I told him, like, Lane Kiffin really hasn't done anything anywhere, if you ask me. I don't care if it's USC. I don't care if it's Ole Miss. I don't care if it's for the Raiders. To me, he a name more than anything. So, the fact that Ole Miss got upset, I really wouldn't consider it upset. Don't get me wrong. University of Florida is trash right now. This is probably going to be the worst matchup between Florida and Florida State I've seen in my lifetime. But nevertheless, University of Florida is still an SEC team. They might not be in their glory days when they had Steve Spurrier and winning national championships and winning the SEC, but nevertheless, they're still an SEC team. And that's why I say, people talk about upsets in the SEC. Man, I mean, SEC is loaded. Like literally on any given Saturday, you get punched in your mouth by a bottom feeder team in the SEC, and that's what it is. And it's real.
Facts. And shout out to DJ Lagway. He, as you know, the freshman, he started quarterback for him. The brothers are playing good, and they start being more competitive in their games. Okay.
All right, awesome. Um, Autism boy, like I told you last week, you're more than welcome to put your link in the chat, and just to support your page and promote your page, but don't pester, brother. Okay, that's with love. Um, but Ravens talk with Yolanda says not looking forward to playing FSU. Soul Power, aka Gained Up Kendall, said, "Salute, good brothers. Man, good to see you, man. Always good to see you, good brother."
Man, salute to you, bro. Salute to you.
Salute.
But Big Joe, what did you think of the Florida upset in Ole Miss?
Hey, like Coach was just saying, there's parallels in sports. We literally were just talking about Oklahoma and Alabama. This is the same situation. Literally, Florida was like what 5-5, 4-5, or whatever, playing against Ole Miss. I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin fan. To me, I think he's like a schmuck. To me, he trying to act like he's better than everybody else. He's at Alabama, then he's at USC, then he's at Tennessee, now he's at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? So, but he's the example of why I feel like players should be able to transfer whenever they want to. Coach like Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has not been able to get them boys over the hump at Ole Miss. He just hasn't. He has a quarterback in Dart who he believes in. But he just don't have that little extra to get him over. And this was the year where they felt good, but Florida is a middle of the road team. But just like in college football and in the SEC, you can lose to any SEC team, whether it's Vanderbilt, whether it's Florida, whatever. In the SEC, you can lose if you ain't ready to play. So, and Florida showed up, and Ole Miss underachieved as usual. So it couldn't happen to a smaller guy than Lane Kiffin, who felt like he's just God's gift to coaching. You're supposed to be the offensive guru. You can develop all these quarterbacks and do all this kind of stuff. Well, then how come then you can't get to the big game? Why are you always at the Alamo Bowl? Why are you always at the Frosted Flake Bowl? Why are you always at the Hawaii Sundance Pineapple Bowl? We want to see you win some SEC championship games. We want to see you in the playoffs because that's what you brought the Ole Miss for. But, when you stink up the joint everywhere you go, you're going to stink it up wherever you at. So shout out to Florida for, um, making everything be everything.
Yeah, it was a very nice win by Oklahoma. Autism boy. JB, did I skip you with the question of the upset?
No.
Okay,
No, I
just
was the
wanna make
first
sure.
one to win.
Okay, good. All right, and just continuing in the scores, fellas. So Georgia beat up UMass 59-20. Georgia is ranked number 10. And I ain't gonna lie, I agree, Big Joe. I don't agree with all these lesser competition late in the season. I don't mind like in the beginning, like the first game or even week 2, week 3, but like week 13, you playing at UMass and you one of the top teams in the nation. Come on now.
I don't get it. I mean, with football, it's not like you got 70 something games. You're building up during the season. So you play your easy competition in the beginning. You get your offenses together. You get your second and third string players some run, get them ready. Like, hey, yo, we may need you week 6, week 7. So pay attention to this. So when you build it up and then you play a Tennessee and then you beat Tennessee in a fantastic game, then you drop down and play like a Mercer, and then you go try to play Oklahoma, things happen. So I don't know why they do that, but we see the results.
Right. Uh, right, man. It's 59-20. Come on now. And I think a few years ago, Massachusetts just became they're fairly new in the FBS. They was an FCS school. So yeah, come on now. Um, Tennessee blew out UTEP. That's another one. Even though UTEP is FBS, but they ain't. That's not no challenge. Tennessee is number 11 in the nation. They blew out UTEP 56-0. Boise State, who is number 12 in the nation, barely beat Wyoming 17-13. And how did our boy Ashton Genty do that game? Let me see real fast. I don't have the stats up because I know he's in the running of the Heisman. Man, homeboy had 19 carries for 169 yards and 1 touchdown. Okay. And I'm gonna interject this, fellas. Do y'all Heisman pick still stand?
Mine does.
I know
Mine
Big Joe
does too.
pick
Still rolling with Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. Both y'all pick Cam Ward, and JB is staying with Travis. Okay.
Yeah, I still got Cam Ward. I mean, especially if Colorado keep losing, and Ward is going to have the better numbers, unfortunately. So I still got Cam Ward.
And I hear you, J6. Genty has to be the front runner of the Heisman, but they very since them Bama running backs like Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. And, who was the latest one that won the Heisman? Latest running back. Good question,
I
isn't
think back. It's been a minute. Been a minute.
Yeah.
But to answer the brother's question, all right, I hear what you're saying about Genty, but what's going to be his biggest knock, and it's not his fault. It is what it is in the conference that he plays
It
in.
was Derrick Henry. It was Derrick Henry.
It was there. Okay.
Derrick Henry, okay, shout Derrick Henry. It's the conference that he plays in. So if Genty was at Alabama, if he was in the ACC running the ball like that, he will get a lot more shine. But because he plays at Boise State and they play like teams like San Jose State, stuff like that, yes, he ran the ball against Oregon and balled out. But we also seen some games to where he played like a UNLV and he only had 80 yards in the third quarter. So it's just going to be hard for a lot of the voters. And again, I know people who have votes for the Heisman, they look at stuff like that. The conference you play in, the style of play. Same thing with the playoff voting. That's why a lot of these schools, they're trying to put 50, 60 points on the board. They're trying to get to the playoffs. The voters look for stuff like that. So, and Genty playing in the conference that he plays in, it's going to be a knock against him, even though that's not his fault. That's just what they're looking for.
Yeah. Y'all remember Samaje Perine
Yeah, I remember him, bro.
from Oklahoma?
Yeah.
He should have been in the running. I think he was, but he didn't even, because he got him all them yards and all them touchdowns, but he didn't have a shot at winning the Heisman. So with Derrick Henry, they had no choice but to give Derrick Henry the Heisman because
He was running on SEC schools like Genty is.
On SEC schools, yeah. But doesn't that go to Jada 6 point though, JB? If he's running on, because he did run on Oregon. I think he go over 100 yards against Oregon, and
I believe, yeah. He's one of them. He's one of the backs that had 100 yards each game he played. So, and I don't care who you play. That's an incredible feat, getting 100 yards every game.
Yeah, but I mean, at a certain point, it could be pad stats. Let me give you an example, right? Uh, I remember the feature back that was the star player on our team in high school. He ended up on a Grammy. But like I remember we played in the playoffs in Lafayette, and he had, if you look at the stat sheet, you're like, oh man, he had this, that, and the third. But we ended up losing 42-8. And then the next year, they played against Curtis in the playoffs. I was going to Southern at the time. And he had numbers, but they got blown out again in the playoffs. So the point I'm trying to make is sometimes it's number for the sake of numbers. They really don't have impact on the game. Now, I'm not saying it was our feature back fault that we lost those games because they just had more talent than we did. But the point I'm trying to make is, to me, it was more padding the stats more than anything, It wasn't, a close competitive game where he got these numbers. Hey, they got the ball to start the game, they went straight down the field and they scored. Then he got literally to the 1 yard line and fumbled the ball out of the back of the end zone. Then they scored like literally the next play, and the game was over. Pretty much every possession they got it, like the first 5 or 6 possessions they scored, and that pretty much was the ball game. And he scored in the fourth quarter. So the point I'm trying to make is, like, I'm not saying Agenti's stats are just stat padding, but I'm saying in some instances it could be the case, And salute to Autism Boy,
yeah.
And
86 said there's no Boise State without Genty. Same argument can be said for Cam and the Hurricanes, but at least he's first among the running back tier in almost every category.
Yeah, I mean, Gentry will be a dog walk. He'll win the dog walker for sure. I mean, there's guys who won the dog walker or won the offensive player of the year and still don't win the Heisman, and somebody else get it. This that's just how it is. Yeah, he's number one running back to get drafted for sure. He's a dog. He's a player. But is he going to win the Heisman with everything going on? You heard Dion say when he was talking about Travis. I'm not going to campaign for Travis. Y'all see him play. It is what it is. A lot of the Heisman stuff, your school and your coaches have to campaign for you. Have y'all? If y'all heard any of the Boise State coaches on national TV campaigning for him? Have y'all seen anything like that? Anything on the internet? So that's part of it too. There's a lot that goes on than the players just playing. But you know,
And
again,
right.
I'll say this: if Genty wins it, shout out to him. If Cam Ward wins it, shout out to him. If Travis wins it, shout out to him. They all dogs regardless. So but just what I've been
agreed.
told, just what I've been told, it's gonna be hard for him. He has a mountain to climb.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
because
not only that, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but
go ahead.
we live in a different day and age. You're not looking for the bell cow feature back that's going to run the ball 35, 40 times a game and get you 2, 3 touchdowns and 150 yards rushing. It's more of a spread game nowadays. So if you're a quarterback, you automatically have the competitive advantage if you putting up numbers on a good team,
Yeah, look at the 2014 year. Melvin Gordon, had 2,587 yards on the ground. He was second. He was very close of reaching Barry Sanders' record in the most rushing yards in a single season in college football. But he didn't win the Heisman. So yeah, it's that bell, like what Joe Town and coach just said that bell cow running back is versus a wide receiver or a quarterback. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to win the Heisman, even though they're putting up high numbers. And Autism Boy said, "Do you believe the Auburn college football team is overrated?" Yeah, yes, but but they beat a up and down Texas A&M. Texas A&M is even though they're 8-3 now, but they definitely got holes in that defense. But Auburn's not that good.
And back to the running back debate real quickly. Just think about it. Derrick Henry won a Heisman in 2015. He was the last running back to win a Heisman Trophy. So that tells you everything you need to know right there,
Exactly. But let me finish these scores, fellas. Good conversation, though. Good conversation. SMU, who was ranked number 13, beat Virginia 33-7. Arizona State, we getting in the Big 12, beat BYU 28-23. And BYU is ranked number 14, and Arizona State is ranked number 21. So a lot of people had BYU winning, but Arizona State got the win 28-23. Now here's a game we can cook on a little bit too. Kansas beat Colorado, just in my opinion, with just maybe two players, but just one player. Devin Neal, a running back. He was one of the best. Could, in my opinion, he could be a steal in next year's draft for a team. Because nowadays the running back is value, but it's not value like it was back in the day. So Devin Neal could be a steal in the draft for somebody. But my point is, Kansas beat Colorado 37-21. And Colorado was ranked number 16. And this is not really considered an upset. A lot of people say it was an upset. No, it wasn't, because I knew what Kansas had. The Kansas Jayhawks had at Devin Neal. Devin Neal kept the Kansas Jayhawks in a lot of games just by running the ball. Now, how a lot of teams beat Kansas is on their side, on the opposing side. What they did was they interjected their running game and then their passing game and kept the ball away from Devin Neal for so Kansas wouldn't eat up the clock and just run the ball with Devin Neal. The problem with Colorado, they ain't got no running game to do that. They didn't run the ball. So going with JB, we've been talking about B, Coach, you, JB, Big Joe. We've been talking about teams getting beside themselves and not staying with the run. JB, what was your opinion on this game, the Colorado versus Kansas game?
Well, Kansas, somebody need to really give a shout out to the offensive coordinator, the coaching staff of Kansas these last 2 weeks. They beat a very good BYU team, and then they beat Arizona State basically, took notes from Kansas and beat them yesterday. And then Kansas did their homework, sat down, watched film against Colorado, their strengths and weaknesses, and they just ran the ball, controlled the clock. They did a lot of motion. They did a lot of read option to their quarterback, who also is a threat running the ball as well. So I started seeing a lot of linebackers and defensive ends get sucked in. And they have decent receivers. They have this one white brother on the as a receiver, they bench receiver. I forget his name. Please forgive me, but he's very good. As you perfectly stated here, Colorado is a quick strike offense. They're an explosive offense, and they're good at playing with the lead. And they're decent coming back from wins. We've seen them do that, but what they struggled with, and we see Nebraska do this. Jared, you said this before we came on the show. You see Nebraska win the running battle, right? Running the ball, and then their quarterback, I forget his name.
Dylan
He
Raiola.
ran Dylan Raiola. He implemented his running game, and that controlled the defense, and they was able to control the clock and milk the clock. That's how you stop a quick strike offense. That's how the Pittsburgh Steelers beat my Ravens in couple of 1 or 2 weeks ago when they played us. They played good defense and they ran the ball and they kept it out of Lamar Jackson's hands. And that's what Kansas did against Shador Sanders in Colorado. The defensive line didn't do a great job of
At all.
stopping the run. They was getting
You
ran
being
on.
nice. You being nice. You didn't do a great job. They did a horrible job stopping the run.
But you got Neal is one of the best running backs in the nation.
Right.
So Colorado didn't do their homework. So how you stop a guy like that, and especially if you got one of the best offenses in the nation, you implement your running game. Like the other teams. Kansas is 4-8 for a reason. You know?
Right.
It's just a lot of bad coaching I saw this week, man.
Yeah, well, and just I miss brother Brent Fox. He said having to listen today, brothers, still supporting though. I appreciate you, man. Always appreciate you. And if you haven't checked out our show, I'm going over the Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry. Please check it out. It's on my playlist. But yeah, man, they knew they couldn't keep the ball in the air like Colorado, so they just ran the ball because they knew they had one of the best running backs in the nation, and that Colorado defensive line is just finding themselves. Yeah, they're top. I think they're top 3 in the Big 12 in sacks, but they're just now finding themselves. So they're not all the way have found themselves, in my opinion. But Coach, did you catch the game, Colorado versus Kansas game?
No, actually, my mom was telling me about it, and basically, she just wanted, because, my family, we always want the black quarterback or the black head coach to be successful. Even though I don't rock with Coach Prime because of the Ryan Garcia crap, but still in all, she wanted them to win, and of course they didn't get the job done. So she was complaining about that. And she said she feel like a lot of people in college football really don't want him to be successful because he's perceived to be too cocky and too arrogant. And I'm like, well, hey, certain things I feel like he gets the short end of the stick on, and then other things he bring on himself. So it is what it is,
Yeah. Big Joe, coming to you. What was your thoughts on the Colorado and Kansas game?
Yes, sir. This wasn't as a shock to me. Kansas is one of those teams I'm like, okay, well, this is a hurdle right here. Kansas has beat 2 back-to-back that spoiled their season. So, they're coming in there, with the, hey, you know what? We're going to ruin y'all chances because Colorado has a chance to be in the playoffs and Big Ten game and all that kind of stuff. Kansas like, you still gotta come here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they played at Arrowhead and everything. Oh yeah, it's a big moment they played at Arrowhead now. So, what I love about football is a lot of times they make it so complicated, but yet you can get whooped so simple. Just run the ball.
Right.
Kansas had a total of 333 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Devin Neal had 207 yards and 3 touchdowns came from him. See, a lot of times when you playing, when you used to play Street Fighter and you just keep kicking somebody's leg with a little leg sweep and they can't stop it and your little brother get mad. Man, stop doing that. Do something different. But you win, so you gonna keep doing the leg sweep. That's what Kansas did. Look, we're gonna run this ball down your throat. I'm gonna move you out this gap, and nothing you gonna do about it. And that's what they did. It wasn't nothing special, no trickery. I'm gonna run this ball downhill, and ain't nothing you gonna do about it. And that's how they won. So right there, that's about attitude. Right there, that's about grit. Colorado defense has came a long way since last year. Even Coach Prime said the Achilles heel is the O line and D line of the team. He got talent, he got receivers, but the D line is still young. This is their first year with Coach
Mm-hmm.
Warren Sapp and the other coaches, so they're
Still
still
trying to find
growing.
themselves. Yeah.
They're still developing. You know what I mean? So hell, Kansas might even give Alabama a run. You dig what I'm saying? Because Alabama D line is shaky like that. So, and we know Florida State D line shaky. They supposed to be the best D line in the country. That's a different story. But shout out to Kansas. They again, Colorado, Alabama, teams like that. They're everybody's Super Bowl. Colorado came in. They got a little big headed. You know, they feel like we're more talented team. We gonna win. But even they knew that Kansas was a tough team, and they still didn't show up to play. So what does that mean? Is it the coaching? Is it you smelling yourself a little bit? Or is it that, you start looking around, you start thinking about what you're going to do after the game? You got NFL scouts in the crowd. You know, all that stuff can affect you and how you play on Saturday. And they just wasn't ready to play. And Kansas just said, we're going to run the ball. Jalen Daniels, the quarterback, only had 189 yards passing. Ain't like they were throwing. They literally just ran the ball down their throat and
Mm-hmm.
broke the D line's wheel. The fact that you have your strong safety has lead the teams in sacks, let you know the first and second line defense got washed the whole game. There's no way your strong safety should have more sacks than a linebacker. You know,
And
but
and I want to interject this. And while you were talking, Big Joe, and just to add on to your point, right? The team looking at Kansas Jayhawks schedule, the teams that beat them, right? Do you know what they did? Like you said, they kept it very simple. They had a balanced game plan of passing and running the ball. Even the teams that did beat them, like Illinois, their running backs didn't go over 100 yards, but they didn't give up on the run, and they had multiple backs that the attempt to run the ball, which opened up the passing game. Did Colorado do that yesterday? No. They gave up on the running game.
mhm.
And they got capable running backs too.
No.
Yeah, they only had 12 carries for 43 yards as a whole team. So I mean, like you said, like Kansas won by running the ball, and Colorado stopped running the ball. So again, we talked about how, they're trying to showcase Shador, trying to showcase Travis. Hell, in the first play of the game, they threw him a quick pass to Travis. He ain't going nowhere. So, they're trying to do some showcasing and whatnot. And, Kansas just ran the ball down their throat. Well, one thing, Colorado still could have came back and won, but one thing that's killing them, Shador holds the ball way too damn
Too long.
long.
Yeah, he does.
That's not going to work in the I know you're an NFL type quarterback. That is not going to work in the NFL. I know Tom Brady's your mentor. I know he's going to tell you that ain't going to work in the NFL. You got about a good 3 seconds, if that. Either you throw the ball away, dump it off to your third or fourth option, or you run the ball. Shador has legs. Shador can help them The running game is struggling. Hell, you can get 10 yards, 8 yards. Instead of making it 3rd and 20, you can make it 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4. But he's holding the ball so long, looking for the deep ball, looking for the ESPN top 10 play that he's killing them. Your O line's already struggling. They're playing better, but don't jinx it.
Right.
But but when you're looking for the splash play, eventually at some point you might drown, and they drowned yesterday. So shout out to Kansas.
Facts, man. Facts. And salute to brother Jay Good, and uh appreciate you always supporting Jay Good. Appreciate you, brother. Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. He said, salute, fellas. Appreciate you, Big Reg. Another brother, always supporting. Appreciate y'all, man. Really do. Those who've just coming in or just listening or just coming in to be nosy, please make sure you like, subscribe. Or if you don't even want to subscribe, just hit my like button. Not asking for no money or nothing. Just hit my like button. But yeah, man, that Colorado game was and shout out to Coach Deion Sanders. Coach Prime, he was honest. He said this game was very humbling to his players, and it was. So hopefully they're ready for next year, or if not even next year, next game. Let me go ahead and just focus on the scores, fellas. But the Clemson beat the Citadel 51-14. Clemson is ranked number 17. South Carolina beat Wofford 56-12. South Carolina is ranked number 18. Iowa State, who's ranked number 22, beat Utah 33-28. Missouri beat Mississippi State 39-20. Missouri is ranked number 23. Illinois beat Rutgers 38-31. Illinois is ranked number 25. And I know I want to hurry up and do the scores, but I can't avoid this. It goes back into talking about getting away from the running game. And JB, I'm just going to go to you, man. You only, since you're the ACC man. North Carolina gets blown out by Boston College 41-21. And why was that, JB?
Well, first of all, just long story short, they didn't give 28 the ball. And everybody know that O'Marion Hampton is up there with one of the best backs in the nation. He has 1,500 yards rushing, so he's up there with Neal. He's up there with Genty. When you don't give your best player the ball, and like Coach just perfectly said at the beginning of the show, if you got 8 men in the box and your offensive line is like that and your running back is like that, it don't matter how many people you got in the box. And I've seen that time for time this year where they put people in the box and Hampton still breaks one loose. And you don't give them the ball. You try to get too smart. You try to get cute, and give Chris Wells some reps. Even though Chris Wells is not a consistent quarterback, I like the brother. I like his story. He was from a third string quarterback to a starter and helped us win some games, but he's not that guy. When you just have him drop back 25, 30 times like that. Shout out to Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is an NFL-minded coach. He did his homework. He didn't allow us to run the ball. He forced us to throw it, even though we should have ran it anyway. The defense yesterday played best as they could yesterday. They had a good running back themselves over there at Boston College. Their quarterback is the quarterback that used to play for Duncanville here in Texas. And then I think he transferred to Plano. He's a decent quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback that can make throws. He's a freshman. You will see more of him this come up future years coming. What's that dude's name, man?
Grayson James.
Grayson James. Y'all be aware of that name. But we just, long story short, fellas, we didn't run the ball. We didn't give Hampton the ball or a chance to be a playmaker or a difference to make the play um, for us to have a chance in the game. Then they were a balanced team. They were good on offense. They were good on defense, and the game got away from us. And then we didn't score until it was like 7:31, and then the fourth quarter we scored two touchdowns with our backup running back. So it ended up being 21-40 something. There's really nothing to talk about, really.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this might be Mac Brown's last year. To be honest with you, with us.
But I'm just gonna say this. I used to agree with you in the earlier in the season, but like Coach said with Brian Kelly, who you gonna replace him with?
That's true, but it's not. I think the game has, like Coach used example for Pete Richardson at Southern back in the day. The game has gotten away from Mac Brown as far as recruiting.
Y'all may be right, man, but something got to change.
I'm sure you're gonna find some offensive coordinator, some defensive coordinator somewhere who can, who needs an opportunity. Hell, there's a coach for UCLA right now who been needing a head coaching job. He might fit in North Carolina.
Who that is?
Is Eric Bieniemy?
Eric Bieniemy.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's interesting.
You stole my thought, because as far as I'm concerned, he long overdue for an NFL head coaching job, to be truthful.
Hell, they can do the darndest thing, and they can bring in Charlie Strong. Charlie Strong replaced him when he got fired from Texas. Charlie Strong down there in Miami right now.
Yeah, and I'll take Eric Bieniemy over John Harbaugh any day. But that's another story. But moving on, fellas, man. Sam Houston loses to Jacksonville State 21-11. Iowa beats Maryland 29-13. Syracuse beats UConn 31-24. Those Western Kentucky Hilltoppers lose to Liberty 38-21. Florida State gets in the win column, but against lowly Charleston Southern 41-7.
Hey, a win's a win, right?
Yeah, win is a win. You're right. Bowling Green beats Ball State 38-13. Trent Dilfer and his University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers beats Rice 40-14. App State beats James Madison 34-20. That's an old Big South FCS rivalry. Okay. But James Madison beats us, but they can't beat App State. I find that interesting. But anyway, New Mexico State beats Middle Tennessee 36-21. Arkansas State beats University of Louisiana Monroe 28-21. Charlotte 49ers beat Florida Atlantic 39-27. Kennesaw State beats Florida International 27-26. Very good game. South Alabama beats Southern Miss 35-14. Arizona falls to TCU 49-28. Arizona having a rough year, y'all. California beat Stanford 24-21, barely. Georgia Southern beats Coastal Carolina 26-6. 26-6. Michigan blows out Northwestern 50-6. Nebraska beats Wisconsin 44-25. Eastern Carolina beats North Texas 40-28. Texas Tech gets the win over Oklahoma State 56-48 in the high scoring game. South Florida beats Tulsa 63-30. Utah State beats San Diego State 41-20. West Virginia beats University of Central Florida 31-21. Arkansas beats Louisiana Tech 35-14. Louisville, Big Joe's Louisville Cardinals.
Man, they should have did that shit last week. I want to hear
Beat,
about no this week.
beat
Should did that last week when I was there in person. Should did all that last week at Stanford. Don't ball out this week. Should did last week. Anyway, go ahead.
beat Pittsburgh 37-9. Louisiana Lafayette, Raging Cajun beats Troy 51-30. Oregon State beats Washington State 41-38. Baylor beats Houston 2010. Baylor was having a rough go of it, but they turned around. They, in my opinion, have a very underrated wide receiver core because they almost beat BYU. They were down by BYU and almost came down in that BYU game, and they almost came back because their wide receiver core is very dangerous. Hey, Colorado almost lost to them. Georgia State beat Texas State 52-44. Very high scoring game. Marshall beats Old Dominion 42-35. LSU beats the pesky Vanderbilt Commodores 24-17. Duke beats Virginia Tech 31-28, ACC rivalry. Kansas State beats Cincinnati 41-15. Fresno State beats Colorado State 28-22. Very good game. Air Force beats Nevada 22-19. And USC Trojans beat their rivals UCLA 19-13. All right. Now let's talk about some HBCU ball real fast, fellas. Okay. So right now in the SWAC, Jackson State is on top of the East, and coaches Southern Jaguars is on the top of the West. So already slated for the SWAC championship game, the Southern Jaguars will take on Jackson State, and whoever wins that game will take on South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl. Coach, I'm going to go to you. What's your thoughts on your Southern Jaguars? Predicting, I'm going to eat my crow. I didn't pick y'all to win the South, the West at first, but y'all came out strong. Even though it's probably not they haven't been playing up to your standards, but they're top of the West now. So, what's your thoughts, Coach?
Well, I mean, truthfully speaking, most of the year they really didn't play up to my standards. But at the beginning of the year, I picked them in Jackson State to be in the SWAC championship game. If you don't believe me, go to my channel and check it out. I think that was episode 1 of HBCU Fanatics that you and I did. So yeah, I picked them to win the. I picked them to win the SWAC West. I picked Jackson State to win the SWAC East. But Southern can't look past Grambling in a 51st annual Bayou Classic coming up this Saturday. Of course, whether they win or not, they're still going to the SWAC championship game. But you got to take care of business first. This is a rivalry game. It's your biggest rival over Jackson State. It's kind of been a bit of a debate. Who's the biggest rival? Grambling or Jackson State? I'm gonna say Grambling because
Yeah,
first of all,
definitely grabbing.
it's an in-state rival. Second of all, when you play, because people don't realize this, at one point Southern and Jackson State used to play in the Superdome. They tried to make it a Bayou Classic type thing, but it didn't get off the ground. Like that year, Southern and Grambling had like what 60, I think 65, 66,000 people in the Superdome for the Bayou Classic, whereas it was only like 44,000 when Southern and Jackson State played in the Superdome. So Southern and Jackson State is a big game in Jackson. It's not a big game. It really can't be a big game in A.W. Mumford because A.W. Mumford only holds 26,000. And then even in the Superdome, it still wasn't that big of a game in my opinion. But at the end of the day, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But they got to take care of Grambling first.
Facts. Okay. Um, and I know this is very premature, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Um, let's say hypothetically, if Southern gets past Jackson State, and I know you in your mind said we will beat Jackson State, but let's just say hypothetically y'all do, right? How do you believe your Southern Jaguars fare against those tough South Carolina State Bulldogs?
I think South Carolina State has the competitive advantage over both Southern and Jackson State from the perspective of they get a little extra time to rest. But I would favor either one of those two over South Carolina State. That's just my personal opinion. And then even if you're looking at the Jackson State matchup, like this not the same Southern team that Jackson State played in week 3 early on in the season. I mean, the offensive line has been reshuffled and they're playing much better. You kind of finally found your quarterback with Jalen Woods. He's the least athletic of the three, but at the same token, he goes through his progression quickly. He gets rid of the ball quickly. He makes the right decision. He makes good throws. He throws the catchable pass. Defensively, you're still struggling a little bit in the secondary. But, up front, you rock solid with Kelby Gibbons and Davin Cotton and Big Willie Miles, who broke the internet. If y'all have not done so, go Google Southern nose guard Willie Miles, scoop and score. Like it's been a viral moment. I think more than anything, I think they need to find another pass rusher on the opposite side. Maybe Jelani Davis that really could kind of, keep them from doubling Kelby Gibbons. But in the secondary, you got Rodney Johnson. You got Herman Bristol III. At one point, he was averaging like 10 tackles a game. So I think Southern trending in the right direction. I think the secondary is probably the weakest link on the whole team right now. But this week they should get healthy, and they need to perform well in the Bayou Classic to give them that momentum going into the Boombox Classic for the SWAC championship game against Jackson State.
Okay. JB, going to you, man. I know you're not as versed as on HBCU as me and Coach, or even Big Joe. But what's your opinion on how will Jackson State or even Southern fare? Well, first let me ask you like this: Who wins in the SWAC championship, Jackson State or Southern?
Man, look, man. Southern has been, after the quarterback switch, I think they're playing one of their freshmen, right, Coach? Redshirt freshmen at quarterback.
Yeah. Of course, Noah was a redshirt junior. All other three quarterbacks, Angelo is the third, he the fourth string. Noah the third string. Xavier ZT6, he the backup, and Jalen Woods. Except for Noah, all three of them are redshirt freshmen. And, Zay a little bit more athletic, but Jalen Woods is, his football IQ is higher. And like I said, he goes through progression quicker. He makes the right read. He makes the right throw. He gets rid of the ball quickly. You know, he solidified himself as a starting quarterback. So they didn't just have a quarterback switch. Actually, they had a few. It really, for the most part, was between Zay and Noah back and forth. But after he struggled against Bethune, they brought Jalen in, and he came back in. He won him the game in like 3 overtimes or whatever. They got it listed as 3, but it was more like 6 or 7. Because once you get past that second overtime period, each team gets the ball in 2, and it's essentially like a 2-point conversion. So,
Well, man, Southern is on fire right now. They 7-4 IC. They're 6-1 in conference play. And with on the SWAC West, they're just winning their game. The games they're supposed to win now. FAMU could not do that. FAMU was my pick, I believe. FAMU at Jackson State, I can't believe. And they haven't been. FAMU, Florida's A&M is doing what I thought Southern would be doing because the quarterback issue. But look, man, I think you know what? I'm gonna pick Southern to win it. I just think I'm gonna go with the hot team right now. Jackson State has been playing great, but I just feel like
I don't mean
Southern.
to cut
Go
you off.
ahead.
You can't say the hot team because Jackson State undefeated in this SWAC play. And then when Southern and Jackson State played, it didn't count as a SWAC game. So
I'll say momentum.
Yeah.
I think Southern has the momentum right now, and I believe I've seen some weird things when watching like the HBCU conference championship and celebration bowls, where you see Jackson State when they had Coach Sanders, they losing to South Carolina State and what was the other team?
North Carolina Central.
So I'm gonna go with this time. I'm gonna go with the team with the momentum instead of the hottest team.
Okay, I hear you. Now, the second part of that question: who do you pick out of the two has the best chance to beat South Carolina State from the MEAC champions?
Well, truthfully speaking, I think if you're looking at the SWAC championship game itself, I mean,
Hold on, coach, because I was asking JB. That question for you, JB.
Man, since I picked Southern to win it, I don't think it's gonna be hard to beat South Carolina State. Man, South Carolina State is balling. They are a problem. Hell with it. Since I opened my mouth and put Southern, I'm going with Southern. Shit, I'm not gonna be inconsistent.
Okay, I'm sorry, coach. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying in the SWAC championship game itself, you know, Jackson State playing at home, you know, even though except for the loss against FAMU, both undefeated in SWAC play. So Jackson State playing at home, and Jackson State definitely the favorite. Now, for those individuals who want to know who I pick, you have to come to the channel and stay tuned. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. And you know we're gonna go with my boy Big Joe. So first, same question, first part of the question. Who do you pick in the SWAC championship game? Is it Southern or is it Jackson State?
Well, I'm going for the whole team. I'm going for the greatest university, according to coach. I'm going with Southern.
Okay. All right. Y'all picking the upset because everybody ain't mama picking Jackson State.
Yeah. Jackson State is the heavy favorite, but you can't skip over the Classic. The Classic is Saturday. You know, who everybody got between Southern and Grambling?
Southern.
I'm a Southern. Grambling ain't big.
Southern.
Well, I mean, you got to realize Miles Crawley was picked to be the SWAC preseason offensive player of the year. You know,
So
Not.
you trying to be funny, coach? Yeah. So
no,
obviously that ain't
I'm being serious. But a huge part of
I
the
know.
problem, a huge part of the problem was the fact that Southern head coach from last year, Eric Dooley, was the until he got demoted, he was the offensive coordinator for most of the season. So that might be part of your problem right there. You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah, that's
I
right.
think Southern is going to be up for Grambling because Dooley is over there. I think they're gonna have a point to
But
prove.
not just Dooley, but you got to realize Mickey Joseph is the head coach. He literally was the front runner to be Southern's head coach. And not only Dooley, but Southern last two head coaches, Eric Dooley and Jason Rollins. One was the offensive coordinator who's been demoted, and the other one is the defensive coordinator, Jason Rollins. So not just Southern head coach, but the front runner to be Southern coach. Of course, they stuck with Terrence Graves. And Southern last two head coaches. So it ain't just Dooley, it's Rollins too. Rollins was the head coach before Dooley. And of course, one of my former coworkers, she was highly upset about that. She was like, why they getting all these Southern leftovers? You know what I'm saying? You got Dooley, you got Rollins, you got Joseph. I said, hey, baby, you got to take that up with your administration at Grambling,
Right, right. Um, but second part of that the question, Big Joe, who you of course you pick Southern, but who do you believe has the better chance of beating South Carolina State or faring against South Carolina State, or do both lose?
Hmm. Well, again, we didn't talked about earlier. Literally two games. Alabama, Oklahoma, Florida, and Ole Miss. So literally any team could get beat. Ain't really no college team out here consistent like that. Um, hmm. I would say Southern, to be honest. I think they have the better chance of beating them.
Okay, okay. Uh,
Look, look, man. Coach made us believers, man. I've been doubting Southern all year. They in this number one spot now, so we're gonna see. I'm picking Southern, so we're gonna see if they, pretenders or about that. So, but I'm going with Southern.
okay. Yeah, but I'm just saying, South Carolina State is going to be a big monumental task. With Jackson State or Southern. But I'm gonna go with Southern. I got coach, like you said, JB. Coach made me a believer. Um, but wanna go over the games real fast that happened. So Tennessee State beat Southeast Missouri State 28-21, and congratulations to Coach Eddie George. His Tennessee State Tigers have earned a playoff berth. They will be playing the Montana Grizzlies in the
Congrats,
first
Coach
round.
Eddie George. Yes, sir. Congrats, Coach.
Congrats.
And Elon beats North Carolina A&T 31-21. Yeah, and Coach, I know we're beating a dead horse, but yeah, man, North Carolina A&T, y'all should have stayed your ass in the MEAC, man. Um, University of Albany beats Hampton 41-34. North Carolina Central blows out Delaware State 52-10. Morgan State beats Howard 35-21. Alabama A&M almost, or I should say avoids, an upset against Mississippi Valley 49-35. And let me stay on Valley for a second. What's up with Valley? Always waiting to the last minute to be competitive. And I knew it was going to happen again. I didn't think it was going to be FAMU though. So those who don't know, Mississippi Valley's first win is against the
Only win.
defending. The only win is against the defending Celebration Bowl champs, FAMU.
The defending HBCU champion.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. And they got blown out. Previous game, they got blown out against Jackson State 51-14. So I thought same thing was going to happen. So, Coach, what's your opinion on these Delta Devils, man? What's because they obviously have talent.
Well, bro, the issue with Valley is, from a funding standpoint, even though you got 6A football schools in the state of Mississippi, funding is an issue for Valley. Facilities, just resources overall. And, I've had some former coworkers. I remember when Valley job came open at one point. Not the last time, but the time before that. And they was like, man, coach, you could be you gonna be the head coach at Valley. I'm like, I'm gonna go from being a middle school head coach to being a head coach at Mississippi Valley. I'm like, come on, man. Yeah. I know they were saying it as a joke, but nevertheless, you got a lot of obstacles that you have to that you're faced with at Mississippi Valley. They are so far removed from the days of Gunslinger Cooley and Jerry Rice. Like, it's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? So, you got a lot of issues in terms of just resources in general, facilities, finances. So, that's part of the reason why they can't ever really get like the top shelf head coach that they might want. Really, I hate to say it, it's going to have to kind of be like a Coach Prime type situation where you will get maybe somebody like a Ray Lewis or another former NFL guy, Andre Johnson, whoever, to really give that program a shot in the arm. But the fact that you have so little to work with, a lot of those guys might not be willing to take that opportunity.
Hell, where Jerry Rice at?
You think
Jerry Rice is eating chickens off a helmet? That's what he's doing.
I'm gonna be honest.
Commercial.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if with the kind of cheese Jerry Rice got, I don't know if he's going back to Valley to be no head coach, to be truthful.
Yeah, he ain't doing that. Just probably be butter on the popcorn for him. You feel me?
Yeah, but that's the point, though. I mean, for him, it might not be worth it at this point. I mean, you got to have a guy like maybe even Eddie George that's really 10 toes down and really willing to go through the grind in terms of being a college head coach, because you got to realize it's year round recruiting everything. So somebody of Jerry Rice's status, he might not want to go through that grind in terms of recruiting and doing this and doing that. I don't know if he'll be interested, to be truthful.
Well, to be honest, I've how I put this. I know Jerry Rice. I met him quite a few times. I know his daughter and all that kind of stuff. Jerry Rice is not that kind of person who would want to be a head coach. Jerry Rice is still living off his greatness. So he's still, wide receivers are kind of divas. So he's still in diva mode, even his age. So Jerry Rice won't ever be a coach. Same way you probably won't see Terrell Owens as a coach.
Dang. So you think somebody like Ed Reed be perfect for the job, the Mississippi Valley job? I think so.
So he's good at Mississippi Valley, but he's not good at Bethune-Cookman?
That's Bethune. I mean, that was between Bethune-Cookman and whatever they had. But I believe he would have done good at Bethune. Honestly, it just
So y'all just saying that with Mississippi Valley State needs like a splash name or somebody to help rebuild that program.
I mean, just think about it, bro. He was complaining about the resources and facilities at Bethune. What you think he gonna do about Valley, bro? bro,
Good
he'll be
point.
he'll be on social media complaining every hour on an hour. Bro, that's a terrible feat. And I'm gonna be truthful. You know, I told you this then. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm not saying you might have disregarded what I was saying, but I said this then. I think in terms of HBCU rounds, I think the way he handled that whole Bethune Cookman situation, I think Ed Reed shot himself in the foot in terms of getting maybe a HBCU or even a FCS head coaching job. I mean, I think the route he would need to go is be an assistant head coach or be an assistant coach, defensive coordinator, and then move his way up to being a head coach. He gotta show that he willing to be humble and go through the grind to become a head coach. I think with that whole situation there, Coach Prime told me this and Coach Prime told me that. Like, bro, shut up, bro. Like, you are the head of
Yeah,
a
man.
you can't operate that way, you know.
I just remember when you and the brothers, when Jay Good was on the
Hmm.
show, and y'all was talking about that basically, um, Larry Reed put the FAMU a lot dirty laundry out there,
Not
but
FAMU,
it was
but
going to, he
Bethune
put
Cookman.
Bethune Cookman on blast. He put Bethune Cookman on blast. And I don't think that, I think the brother's right on this one, Jerry, because I don't think of the other HBCU
Yeah,
want to
that's
go
why
to
I
that.
backed off. I was just looking at Ed Reed grit, and his coaching style, but
His,
how
his
he
aura.
handled it.
I understand.
Yeah, how he handled the Bethune Cookman. Yeah, we've been on this about HBCUs, man. But if you really want to coach and be there for them kids, man, you would have found a way to kind of voice your complaints, in private,
Another way.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
another way.
yeah, you don't. I mean, you go
Instead
back.
of putting them on us putting on blast, and you took a great opportunity way to get some coach. Look at Greg Ellis, man. Those who don't know who Greg Ellis is, he was a first round draft pick out of North Carolina for the Dallas Cowboys, man. And he took a HBCU, um, and this HBCU school is not CIAA. Heck, I didn't even mention SWAC or MEAC. It's not even CIAA. His first coaching job was at a school called Texas College in Texas, which is I don't think they're on the I don't know what division they are, but it's a HBCU. You know what I
Right.
mean? They're not. I don't even think they're Division 3,
Right.
but it's a private, historically black college. Um, but that was his first coaching job, and now he got since he went from there, got his feet wet. He's a coach at for the Dallas Cowboys because he had to go somewhere and learn how to be a coach. He was already a great player, but he had to go somewhere. Had to go to humble beginnings because that Texas college program,
But trash.
trash, man.
Yeah.
And I
And,
think this year was their only successful year,
Winning season.
winning
Yeah.
season.
and it's the thing about it, bro. You know, I don't know if y'all heard me say this on my channel. I'm getting ready to come out with a video about this. See, me and Jay Good was saying is he trying to compare Bethune to the U, and bro, you comparing apples and oranges. So, people always talk about reparations, but I'm gonna just use Southern for an example. I don't know if y'all know this or not. The state of Louisiana owes Southern University $1 billion, not with an M, no, with a B. They owe them $1 billion, and HBCUs in general are owed, not just Southern, but all HBCUs across the board are owed over $12 billion in funding. So HBCUs not gonna get the kind of, Bethune is not gonna get the kind of funding that the U is gonna get. Southern is not gonna get the kind of funding that LSU is gonna get. So the fact that you trashing administration, you trashing facilities, you trashing this, you trashing that, like bro, you trying to compare apples and oranges, and that's the thing he didn't understand. And not only that, he was too loud, he was too vocal, he was too boisterous. you know, and like you were saying at the time, Jared, maybe that bravado got him to where he was in terms of being a great NFL player. But when you're a head coach and you're the face of a program, like you can't conduct yourself in that manner. If you have grievances you need to voice, you got to go behind the scenes. You know, we talked about it yesterday with the whole Wire situation. Realistically, the way Air Reed was conducting himself, that's McNulty type moves in terms of, airing out
Facts.
your program and putting them out on Front Street. Like, man, you don't do that. And I
No,
think
you
in
don't.
terms of him potentially getting a head coaching job on the HBCU level, realistically, before they ended up going in the direction they wanted to go in. Like he was interested in the Texas Southern job. But I think he's burned all bridges in that regard. He's gonna have to go somewhere. If he's really sincere, he's gonna have to be an assistant coach and work his way up to be the head coach. But I don't know if he's humble enough to do that.
Mm, okay. Okay. Point taken. Yet again, I I agree. I agree. I like Eric Reed. You know me being a Baltimore Ravens fan, but I believe he definitely believe he could have handled the um, Bethune Cookman situation with kid gloves.
Yeah, a lot better. And before I get off my soapbox, let me just kind of point this out. Bro, you gotta realize Coach Prime was complaining about the facilities at J State. You gotta realize Southern, Jackson State, Grambling, Alcorn, and maybe Prairie View might have the best facilities. But these are like the blue blood teams in the SWAC. And for him to be perpetually complaining about the lack of facilities and resources at Jackson State, dude, what you think you're gonna have to work with at Bethune Cookman or even Mississippi Valley?
Mm,
And no way. So, you could get these fantasies out of your head in terms of, Bethune Cookman or Mississippi Valley being on the same level as, the University of Miami or being on the same level of Ole Miss and Mississippi State. You can forget about that, bro.
okay. Definitely hear you, man. Um, Let me finish these scores though. So Jackson State blows out Alcorn State 48-10. Texas Southern beats Arkansas Pine Bluff 31-23. And Florida A&M almost talking about Bethune-Cookman almost lost to Bethune-Cookman. So they almost lost to another lowly team again, but they
Well, bro, I
won
told
41-38.
I told you this a few weeks back. The issue with Bethune Cookman is one, Bethune Cookman got a lot of NIL money. People don't realize this. That's the reason why people thought Bethune was going to do better than they did, and that's the reason why a lot of people pick FAMU to win the SWAC. Because I don't know what it is, but the state of Florida got NIL money running rampant. I don't understand that for one. But the issue with Bethune is all Bethune NIL money is all on the defensive side of the ball for whatever reason. I think if they'd have been able to balance that out, maybe get them a quarterback, couple offensive linemen, and spread it out with those, those players they have on the defensive end, there'll be a problem in the SWAC. But the fact that you put all those players on one side of the ball, like you really not gonna lock down teams like that. The Bethune got a decent defense, but they're not that good. And truthfully speaking, until Jalen Woods came in the game, they gave Southern all they could handle. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, man, facts. But all right, that's definitely it for the HBCU section of the show. The Wild AFC North race and NFL recap. Before we go, before I give it to Big Joe, as far as him recapping the NFL games that already happened today. One of the topics I want to talk about is basically the Wild AFC North race. So the reason why Pittsburgh, shout out again to my brother Brent Fox, was the number one team in the AFC North. But they just lost to the Browns. The Baltimore Ravens lost to the Browns. So we don't know who's going to be on top at the end of the year. Of course, I want my Ravens to be. but it's everybody's racing to be on the top of the AFC North. JB, what's your opinion on the AFC North?
You gotta, it's a buckle your chin strap type conference. You can't go in there tiptoeing and finessing. No, you gotta be ready to play. I don't care if the Browns or Cincinnati only won one game this year. You better be ready to play them because they're gonna be ready to play you. And that's how it's been for the past 15 years. 15, 20 years. So it's just one of them things. It's the reason why Baltimore and Pittsburgh and for some seasons Cincinnati are so tough football teams because of the conferences they come from. There's no quick games. You see where and conference games in general is like that for around the league. If you take a look today, Washington just allow Dallas to beat them.
Yeah.
What do you think? So they've been hearing all week how sorry, how terrible the Dallas Cowboys is, and you go and then you just come out like that. Same thing with the Ravens. Um, uh, Cleveland can't win, and with the Deshaun Watson situation, and then here come Jameis Winston. A lot of people, make fun of Jason Winston, especially when he had that 30 for 30 year, 30 picks and 30, touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
A lot of those picks wasn't his fault. A lot of them picks was Mike Evans' fault, though, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
a lot of those picks might get fault.
I mean, that's just my
I
opinion.
just,
That year,
I just, yeah, Jameis is a gunslinger, man. They ain't gonna, he gonna like all them throws. He gonna throw that junk in there. So,
well, you got to realize
but
when he took over the Saints offense for Sean Payton, he had that many picks that year. If it would have been for him getting hurt, I think the Saints make the playoffs.
Hey JB, you got a little background noise. If you got anything else playing, please mute.
nah, I don't.
Okay, you must have got bad connection there. But yeah, okay. Um, uh, Coach, I know you're on the outside looking in with your Saints, but what's your opinion on the AFC North?
I mean, it's just like a lot of these conferences we talked about in college, like the SEC. You got to bring your A game every week. And I'm gonna be honest with you, be truthful. People talking about how Derek Carr is playing good, this, that, and the third. As far as I'm concerned, I think the Saints would have been better off if they'd have kept Jameis Winston. But the fact that, like I just said, he got hurt that year, I believe they was gonna make the playoffs because when he got hurt, they were like 6-2, and they ended up not making the playoffs. And then, I don't care what people say. It's some politics behind the scenes, dude. Anytime you start Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston, and I'm like, bro, what the f you doing, bro? And then you bring in your guy Derek Carr, and you get fired. Not that he got fired, the Saints don't went on a little winning streak. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if you look at the way he played against the Ravens, if you look at the way he played against who was it they beat when he first came off the bench? Like if you look at the way he played in those two games, like Wilson is a rock solid NFL star. Like, so if you a bottom of the barrel team and you look and you don't have a franchise quarterback, to me, I think he's a good bridge guy, a good gap guy that you can let start for a couple of years while you draft like maybe a Cam Ward or you draft a Shedeur Sanders and you let him sit on the bench and groom him and develop him to be a franchise quarterback, and you let Jameis Winston take the run. So you can't even overlook a team like the Cleveland Browns because the Cleveland Browns got talent too. I mean, they're an NFL team too. And whether we talk about the Steelers, the Ravens, you can't overlook no team in the AFC North.
Facts. Big Joe, what's your opinion on the AFC North?
Yeah, I mean, the AFC North has always been like this, where you're gonna have, same thing with the NFC West, or hell, even the NFC East. Everybody has each other's number. They know the tendencies, they know what they're gonna do. They're very familiar with them. So these games are not surprising. And then you add the fact that you add some rain, you add some snow, you add some rough climates. You make it a little windy to where some of them field goals and extra points don't go in. It's not surprising at all. And for anybody to win, I want Jameis Winston to win. So he's definitely been treated as if he's a redheaded stepchild, but he's a solid, quarterback, just like Coach was saying. He can start for any team, and he can hold the place, while he drafts somebody, or you know, he can just keep the ship going, and maybe Jameis is still developing. I don't know. Maybe has he got with a good quarterback coach yet that can help him develop, or has he hit his ceiling? Who knows? But we know that Jameis Winston can win the league because he just beat, you know, one of the best teams in the AFC. So, you know, it's wide open at this point, and we won't be surprised if some of these teams keep on losing. But shout out to Jameis.
Facts, facts. So of course, I hope my Baltimore Ravens get it together, but it depends on. It's a scary thought we have to depend on John Harbaugh to get things together, because he don't have that Hall of Fame talent around him no more. So, like he did, of course, he got Lamar Jackson. He's a Hall of Famer, Derrick Henry, but mainly I'm talking about on the defensive side of the ball back in the day. But yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how this unfolds. Now, Big Joe, can you give us the honor in doing the Week 12 recap?
Absolutely. All right, Week 12 recap. We're gonna start with Thursday. We have the Dogs, the Cleveland Browns, that beat the Steelers. The Steelers are supposed to be one of the best teams in the AFC, but the Browns, again, we're talking about the AFC North, they just know each other. Jameis Winston balled out. You throw some weather in there. That's why the Browns beat the Steelers 24-19. And then we have some of the games today. The Lions, who some say is the best team in the NFC, if not the best team in the league, they beat the Colts 24-6. Anthony Richardson, he played a solid game. He didn't have any turnovers. He didn't cause them to lose, but he didn't cause them to win either. He played a stellar game.
Yeah, and the referees helped him
Miami-
allow the Lions out on the defense side of the ball a lot,
yeah,
in my
you
opinion.
know, you know how that go. But shout out to the Lions, 24-6, and then we have Will Levis, aka whipping a miracle together, beating the Texans 32-27. I keep bringing that up because Will Levis, some of y'all don't know, he's actually sponsored by a mayonnaise company. He got commercials and everything. So if you're looking for some mayonnaise, holla at Will Levis. He get y'all together for this holiday season. But yeah, the Titans and Will Levis beat CJ Stroud and the struggling Houston Texans 32-27. They going to figure it out. D'Amico Ryans, he's going to figure it out because pretty soon they're going to start saying he on the hot seat. And then we have the Dolphins beat the lackluster New England Patriots 34-15. We got Tua Tagovailoa coming back. I think he's the second or third game back. He's getting his rhythm. It's starting to heat up. Can the Dolphins make a run for the playoffs? Can they save their season? Can Tua stay healthy? We're going to see. But this win today is a good start, 34-15. And then we have the Dallas Cowboys, the so-called America's favorite team, the team that everybody's been cramping on all week. They come in there and beat the young blood and Jaden Daniels. We have Cooper Rush. He finally showed up today and showed y'all why I'm quarterback number 2. You dig what I'm saying? He came in there and he beat the Commanders 34-26. The Redskins had a slow start. They couldn't get their offense together. They're making too many mistakes, and the Cowboys just capitalized on it. This is a much needed win for the Cowboys. This will quiet the noise for a little bit, but it's still the worst team in the NFC East. It's more about what the Commanders didn't do than more about what the Cowboys did. So shout out to the Cowboys for getting the win, breaking the 5-game losing streak, 34-26. And then we have the Buccaneers beating the brakes off the Giants, 30-17. 30-7. It's so bad you had Baker Mayfield going in there making fun of people and doing weird end zone celebration dances. He was definitely feeling himself. But the Giants, as we say, is hot garbage. Maybe they in the Cam Ward Shador sweepstakes. They just let go their quarterback. He was strong. He was practice squad strong safety on Wednesday, and then he was fired by Thursday. So maybe they need a quarterback. We're gonna see. And then we have the Chiefs barely get a win over the Panthers, 30-27 with a late game field goal to seal the victory. The Panthers are showing up with Bryce Young. Remember they were saying he was the reason they was losing. Well, he's the reason why they've been in these close games. Because the red rifle ain't there. So somebody throwing the ball, and it's Bryce Young. So shout out to Bryce Young for having a close game. But in the NFL, you need to win. So shout out to the Chiefs for winning 30-27 as of now, what they're like 10-1 or 11-1 or whatnot. So they're still going on a remarkable winning streak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10
In
1.
the game, in the games we have on now, we have the Seahawks beating the Cardinals. Again, it's the NFC North game, 13-3. We have the Packers beating the brakes off the 49ers, who don't have Brock Purdy in there. What's Shelton at? No Brock Purdy today, Shelton. He ain't playing today. Packers beating the 49ers 24-7. And then we have my Raiders. Again, I'm an Oakland Raiders fan, not Las Vegas, but we have my Raiders losing to our rivals, the Broncos, 16-3. We got Bo Nix out there. He's overly meshing with the head coach, and he looked like he might be. Is he the next John Elway? Definitely not. But I think he's a good fit for old Sean Payton. So those are the scores, and then we have. Oh, I missed one. We have the Vikings also played a rivalry game against the Bears, and the Vikings won with a last second field goal, 30, 30-27. And then we have tonight for Sunday Night Football, we have the Eagles playing against a 5-5 team in the Rams. And then on Monday Night Football, we're going to have the home team, the channel's favorite, Baltimore Ravens, going against the hot and surging Los Angeles Chargers. So that's gonna be a good game tomorrow. We're gonna see, and
Oh,
can the Ravens bounce back? And we're gonna see, if Harbaugh, has his brother number. Back to you, Jared.
man, wonderful recap. Like always. D-Man Jr., what's up, brother? My brother. He says, "How about them Cowboys?" Oh Lord, yeah, y'all, boy, that was prayer. God moved that field goal, that rushing win. That was God right there, because somebody was praying for y'all. But y'all,
D man, take your ass about it. We'll never see you ever talk about no Cowboys for a long time. I hear you come. Get up out of here.
yeah, but y'all got the win though. Yeah, I got the win. But any closing thoughts regarding college or NFL?
Oh yeah, the Saints had a bye this week, so they'll be back next week against the Rams.
Hey, the Saints actually looking like a good football team last week. Shout out to what's number 7 name? I forget his name.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Everybody that one time everybody was trying to put him over Lamar Jackson. I ain't forgot that, but he was balling last week, man. But shout out to the Saints.
Yeah. Okay. Good show, fellas. Good show. Again, any closing thoughts or concerns regarding college or NFL? Take that as a no. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Good show, fellas. I appreciate y'all for joining me this evening, or afternoon now, evening. Coach, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
You can catch me here on YouTube at Coach 67 on Sports TV. The channel has kind of been showing and growing as of late. So, y'all come over, come like, share, subscribe, all of that good jazz. For all my LDBC family members that's in the boxing, I'm getting ready to break down my pound for pound top 10 list. And also I don't know, we're gonna do it tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We're gonna do episode 47 of Bayou Sports Talk. And then last thing on the docket for all y'all individuals that love the wire the way I do. Yesterday, myself, my brother Jared Levin Green, and the general of this great organization, 7 8 Sports TV, we broke down episode 2, season 1 of the Wire. Y'all go check us out. Come check us out. Come over to the channel. Catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening, blessed and phenomenal weekend. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Joe, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you, man.
Yes, sir. You can catch me on all LDBC platforms, supporting the brothers and the sisters of the mighty LDBC. You know what I'm saying? You can catch me at your local F1 race. You can catch me courtside at a Warriors game. And you can catch me where it's happening at. You feel me? So you can catch me especially on the Southern Baller show. So shout out to the family, salute to the mighty LDBC. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, y'all happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and also we coming down to the end of a lot of high schools ain't playing balls no more. If there are any playoff games or state championship games, go ahead and attend your local playoff and championship games to support your local schools in your area and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
So and also, if you have any colleges in your area who still playing, maybe some of them are have like 1 or 2 games left. Go over there and support your local schools and go on and check out and support football in your area. Pretty soon, you're gonna get to that weird point where ain't gonna be no football. So try and get much of it in as you can. Salute to everybody.
Yes, sir. You ain't lying. You lying. You are not lying. Go ahead, coach.
Oh yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving. And just to warn y'all, there may be no show this coming Thanksgiving weekend because everybody's doing the preparation. I'm gonna try to have a show, but no guarantees. Because most of brothers' schedules gonna be trying to deal with family and the people coming in out of town. So, but yeah, JB, any closing thoughts before we end the show?
Man, y'all have a great work week, man. This Thanksgiving, don't let these people work you to death on your job. Y'all spend time with y'all family, and don't let nobody trick you on not spending time with your family, or calling your family, texting your family, checking upon on them. Happy Thanksgiving. Y'all have a blessed week.
Amen, amen. Well, this was another wonderful show, another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all have a blessed day.